This weekend we have a major event happening in the Whitetail Woods. It's called a cold front, and if you followed my ratings, my books for the last many years, several years, I strictly hunt cold fronts. Now there's times where I go in and I'll look to harvest a doe, even go with the kids and try to harvest a doe as well. Then it really doesn't matter. But when I'm really getting into my serious mature buck hunting, I strictly rely on the weather and the cold fronts to tell me when to go take a seat. Even if you look around this office, like I don't remember how many deer mounts there are in here and antlers, but all but 2 have been shot specifically during a cold front, where I went into a stand expecting the potential to harvest a particular buck, not just a buck, but a certain buck that we've been following, and then go in and have some success with that because of that cold front. Buck's already there, but if you go in at the wrong time, you're probably not going to have that high value sit when that weather actually changes. So this weekend we're gearing up. We've been gearing up for about 7 to 10 days. And what I mean by that is we've been taking trail card inventory. We've been lightly hunting with the boys on the outside so we can change a card here and there when we're hunting, getting a feel for what bucks are in which area. So we have 3 hunts, just 3 sits, 2 evenings and 1 morning, that we're going in on specific bucks to see if they're there, see what they look like in person, see if we can even see them. But I can guarantee if we hunted now, yesterday, we'd have a very low chance. If we hunt 4 or 5 days from now, very low chance. But this front is coming through tonight. Tomorrow the temperature is dropping 13 to 14 degrees. We're going to get our first frost potentially of the year. And for that first 36 to 48 hours after the front goes through, when that barometric pressure is rising and the conditions are calming, cooling, and clearing out, then we're going to hit the woods hard. And we have some very serious sits coming this weekend, so I'm excited about it. And first, we need to narrow down which bucks we're going after. And we obviously pulled some trail cards, and I can't wait to get out there this weekend. So when I'm focusing in on a cold front, I'm looking for at least, right around at least a double-digit drop in temperatures. And if you look on this right here, this is a great graph. This is from Weather Underground. This one I use often. It shows that temperature dropping. And so I'm looking at a daytime high of today of 73. And then if you look at tomorrow, it's 56. So we're a 17-degree drop, which is significant. I'm really excited about that drop. And in that drop, when that chance of thunderstorms, there's high winds coming through. It's forecasted up to 30 miles an hour. So there's a lot of turbulence, a lot of stress in the woods. And when you have stress, you have turbulence, you have weather, deer miss feedings. They're feeding 5 times in a 24-hour period. When they miss feedings, they're hungry. When they're stressed, it depletes energy. When there's colder temperatures, it depletes energy. So very important that you recognize that major drop, and the more extreme, the more windy, the more rainy, snowy, the more extreme the weather, then when it does finally clear and you have that rise in barometric pressure, then awesome opportunity to be in the whitetail woods. So if you and I, we're lost in the wilderness for a few days and we survive, someone rescues us, we're gonna be really hungry. And so if you look at that when the deer are stressed because of the high winds and extreme weather, when they're missing feeding opportunities, when the temperature's dropping, they're hungry. So they feed heavily in those first couple of days. And I say the first 36 to 48 hours after, they're really on the move. And you can imagine when this gets into the rut, boy, it really magnifies the effects of the front coming through. But in this situation, dropping from 73 to 56, awesome temperature drop. You can see the morning lows are going to be 50 to 38. And something to mention on this Friday right here, where it says the morning low is going to be 38. That morning low is actually Saturday. That means Thursday, where it says the low right here of 50, that's going to be Friday morning. 38 is going to be Saturday. That's just how the weather forecasts work. Just trust me on that one. So you see this major drop. Now, when you get into Sunday, so this is dropping heavy Friday, Saturday. I would say that Sunday morning is going to be pretty good, maybe Sunday night. By the time you get into Monday, even if the temperature stayed the same and cool, it's just more of the same. So you're really looking at change in temperature, change in wind speed, change in weather extremity, looking for those calming conditions. Could be that the winds are 45 and they drop to 25. That's still great. It's a 20 mile per hour drop. It doesn't matter if the temperature drops from 65 to 50 or 50 to 35. Probably more of a value of 50 to 35, but not much because it's still a 15-degree temperature drop. So those are what I'm looking for, and that's what's happening this weekend. And I can guarantee you a 17-degree drop is major. We only get a few drops like this the entire season. On average, you get a cold front about every 7 to 10 days. So try not to miss out on a cold front the entire season, and that's what we've been gearing up for the last 7 to 10 days. You can see these forecasts coming. You can see the cold front coming. Might be forecasted to be 10-degree drop, might be a 20-degree drop, but you know it's coming. That's the way the weather patterns work. They're pretty predictive on that. If they're 10 days out, they're going to be 70%, 60% accurate. When you're 3 or 4 days out, they're going to be very accurate. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we've been planning for. And we have some bucks that we're going after specifically, and we'll take a look at those now. Now with this cold front, it's important that we're not going after bucks that we expect to show up during the rut. We're going after bucks that are on the property right now. There are bucks that I expect to show up in the next 2 to 3 weeks during late October, and there are bucks that I expect to show in early November during the peak of the rut. But right now, it's early October, and I don't want to waste a sit, waste a stand, waste a location going in on a buck that I think might come in 4 weeks or 3 weeks. So we have bucks right now that we're going after on the one property. We named the one Hank and the other one Diego. They're both 4 to 6 year old bucks, very impressive bucks. Diego, actually, this is the 3rd year of pictures. Hank, we don't have a lot of history with, but he's been on the property. He was September 23rd, shooting hours. So those are 2 bucks. We're using Deer Lab. We're creating profiles of all our bucks on Deer Lab, and we're going after these bucks. We're using Deer Lab to organize our bucks. It shows us when they're moving, what days. We're putting pictures in there from years past too. There's several bucks that we have 2 to 4 years worth of pictures of that we're going after. But at the same time, when those bucks have moved in the past, whatever moon phase, whatever temperature, whatever wind, you can throw it all out the window, because those bucks are going to be moving during this cold front, period. That's when they move. That cold front will get them on their feet. So a lot of people get bogged down in, what moon phase is he moving on? What exact temperature was he moving on? What wind direction? Folks, they're going to move when the temperature's right, when that cold front goes through. They're going to be on their feet after that front comes through. They need to feed. They're going to be extremely active. The entire deer herd's going to be active. Deer are social creatures. They're going to be moving. And this has worked for me since the early 90s. This is something that I haven't been doing just for 2 or 3 years, shot a couple bucks and say, hey, you should do this. This is something I've been using for a very long time, almost 3 decades. And it's not that I don't believe the moon phase doesn't influence deer. It does. Full moon phase, I believe it increases some afternoon or some late morning feeding activity. So if you're on a buck and you're next to his bedding area, then there's a good chance you can get on him if it's in a full moon phase. However, if that deer is moving during a good moon phase, it's only because the weather was good first. And I've been hunting this way for a long time. I was on the Michigan Sportsman's forums for a very long time, since I think February 2002. It's a great hunting forum. It's still active. I can remember it was between 6 and 8 years ago. It was quite a while ago. Quite a few of the guys took some time off on, I believe it was a Thursday. It was in October, and temperatures were supposed to be around 80, 25-mile-an-hour winds, and it was a great moon phase. I urge people, please don't take that day off work. Don't waste the time. These are guys that are working 40, 50 hours. They're not self-employed like me. They have to be really choosy on how they take their time off. And they took that time off. No one shot a deer. No one saw anything. There was nothing moving. And it was because the weather was very poor. So if you have a poor weather day, it does not matter how great the moon phase is. The deer, there's going to be a very low chance of success. If you have a great weather day and a poor moon phase, make sure to hit the woods. Don't ignore that great weather. Great weather and the weather conditions always trumps anything else. So they're going to be moving. Of course, you have to have men around your property in the first place, which is why we're using Deer Lab, which is why we're creating those profiles. and which is why we're going after bucks that we feel we have a chance of right now on the 2 properties that we hunt, which is only 2 or 3 bucks. By the time that gets into the end of October, there'll be 5 or 6 that we could potentially target. And during the rut, who knows? Those bucks might be on our property, they might be somewhere else, but we're gonna have a good chance at a random buck at that time. But when I'm hunting in October, I'm going into a stand with an idea that I'm going after a specific buck, should be moving at that time during that cold front, and we'll see what happens. You know, it's hunting. I feel that, you know, this weekend our odds are really good. Whether that means it's a 20% chance or a 30% chance, it's never 100. And so we're gonna go in with the weather on our side, the conditions on our side, and we'll see what happens. That's better than going in yesterday or waiting till Tuesday or Wednesday where we probably have a 2 or 3% chance, maybe even just a 1% chance. You know, it's about playing poker in the deer woods, and those odds are on our side. We're definitely going in and hunting. We're playing that weather hand that's being dealt to us this weekend, and we can't wait. So follow along. That'll be on our next show next week, but we can't wait. We've done our homework, narrowed it down to these bucks. We've non-invasively gone in and out of the woods with the QuietKats, haven't left any scent, did it very quickly, and we'll see what happens. Can't wait to bring it to you.